You are watching video on SEE preparation grade 10 exam subject science. This is the revision of chemistry chapter classification of elements. Now here in this video we are going to study modern periodic table. There are numerous points you need to understand in this topic, and this topic is very important from examination point of view. So classification of elements means grouping of elements on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities, or grouping of elements on the basis of their properties is called classification. Now the table which you can see here, this is modern periodic table, which is based on the order of atomic number, increasing atomic number of elements. It is made on the basis of increasing order of the atomic number of elements, and it is based on the modern periodic law given by Henry Moseley. Modern periodic law is physical and chemical properties of the elements are periodic function of their atomic number. It can be stated as this: modern periodic law, Henry Moseley. So modern periodic table. Now you can see in this table there are vertical columns and horizontal rows. Yes, columns, vertical lines and horizontal lines. Vertical lines are called groups, horizontal lines are called periods. Okay, vertical columns are groups, horizontal rows are periods, right? Groups and the periods. So now you see how many groups, how many periods are here, how many lines. Okay, horizontal lines and vertical lines. Here vertical lines are total 18. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 18. That means 18 groups. Okay, 18 groups is actually total group, but actual group is, main group number is 9. Main group number is 9. How you see? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and this one is 9. Actually this is group 8. Okay, group 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8 and 9. Altogether 9 groups, but these are subdivided. Okay, there are subdivisions, so because of that there are total 18 columns. 18 columns means 18 groups, whereas horizontal lines are 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 means 7 periods. 18 groups, 7 periods. Okay, 18 groups is actually 9 groups have been subdivided, so it becomes 18 groups, and periods are 7. Period 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 periods. So these are the groups and periods. Now there are differences between groups and the periods. You see, elements in the same group have same properties. The elements, group 1A elements, all these elements have same properties. 2A elements have same properties in them. Okay, whereas in case of period, the properties of the elements change gradually when you move from left to right. Okay, properties do not remain same in the same period as you move from left to right in a period, right? So groups are made on the basis of number of valence electron. The group 1A elements, this group 1A elements have 1 electron in their valence shell. Group 2A elements have 2 electrons in their valence shell. Group 3A elements have 3 electrons in their valence shell. So this way groups are based on the number of valence electron, whereas periods are based on the number of orbits in their atomic structure. For example, this one first row, these two elements have 1 orbit in their atomic structure. The second one elements have 2 orbits. Third row elements have 3 orbits. 4 row elements have 4 orbits. Orbits means cells around the nucleus in atomic structure. These elements have this one 1 2 3 4 5 orbits. These elements have 6 orbits, or the cells. These elements have 7 orbits, or the cells in their atomic structure. So these are the differences between groups and the periods. Okay, now in case of in a period, if you move from left to right in a period, the number of valence electron increases. Okay, these element has 1 electron, potassium has 1 valence electron, calcium has 2 valence electron, this element has 3 valence electron, 4 5 6 7. So as you move from left to right in a period, number of valence electron increases, right? Whereas if you see in a vertical column, number of electrons will be same. Okay, group 3a elements, all these elements have 3 electrons in their valence shell. So these are the differences you need to remember. Now we can see the blocks in this periodic table. You can see S block, P block, D block, F block elements. There are 4 block elements in the periodic table. S block elements, P block elements, D block elements, F block elements. So S, P, D, F are the name of the subcells, names of the subcells in the periodic table. Now you know atomic structure. Yes, atomic structure of the element of an element can be seen somewhat like this. Okay, there are cells around the nucleus. This is nucleus and there are cells, and these are the main cells. The names of main cells are K, L, M, N cell, or the orbits. But these orbits have subcells in them. Cells are divided into subcells, and the names of subcells are SPDF. For example, K orbit has one subcell, that is S. L orbit cell has 2 subcells, S and P. M has 3 subcells, SPD. N has 3 subcells, SPDF. So this way there are subcells under cells in the atomic structure, and the number of blocks have been, names of blocks have been given according to the subcells of the atomic structure. S, P, D, F, these are the names of subcells. Subcells are the subcells under main cells, or the orbitals. Subcells are also called orbitals. So the S subcell can fit 2 electrons maximum. P subcell can accommodate 6 electrons at the maximum. D subcell can accommodate 10 electrons maximum, and F subcell can fit 14 electrons maximum. So S, P, D, F, 2, 6, 10, 14 electrons they can fit in their cells. Okay, subcells, orbitals. S, P, D, F are the orbitals or the subcells. The number of maximum electrons they can fit: S2, P6, D10, F14. So these are the subcells. Now you can see this one, subgroup A and subgroup B. Subgroup A and subgroup B, these are subgroup A, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, group 0. Yes, these are subgroup A. Subgroup B elements are here. Subgroup B elements are here, green color. And these are also subgroup B. These are also subgroup B. This part is taken out from here. These are called inner transition elements. Inner transition elements. These are transition elements. Green color is transition elements. And these S block, P block are representative or normal elements. Representative or normal elements. These representative S block and P block are representative or normal elements. These elements have valence electron being filled in their last subcell. Electrons are being filled in last subcell only. That is why these are representative elements or normal elements, and they follow rules of periodic table. Whereas transition elements, this green color and this one, D block and F block elements are transition elements. These are actually inner transition. So their last electrons are being filled in last subcell as well as second last subcell. That is why they do not follow the rules of periodic table at times. Okay, so these are the representative and the transition elements. These are called inner transition. These are transitional elements. These are inner transition elements because these are called inner transition because they are inside transition. Okay, so these are F block elements, and these are called lanthanides and actinides. This purple color is lanthanides, green color is actinide. Okay, lanthanides and actinides elements are F block elements, and these are inner transition elements. Okay, so you see lanthanides are the elements with atomic number ranging from 58 to 71. Lanthanides and these are F block elements, and the position in the periodic table of lanthanide is group 3b, it is taken out from 3b. 57, 58 you can see continuation, no? So 3b, these are group 3b elements and period 6. Position of lanthanide in the periodic table. Period 6, group 3b. Position of the actinides in the periodic table. Group period 7, group 3b. Period 7, group 3b. So these are the positions of lanthanide and actinide in the periodic table. Actinides are the elements with atomic number ranging from 90 to 103. 90 to 103. Lanthanides and actinides are the F block elements. These are inner transition elements. Now we will see this one. Group 1a elements are called alkali metals. These are called alkali metals because these elements reacts with water to form hydroxides, highly soluble hydroxides or alkalis. Hydroxides are called alkalis, so these are alkali metals. Okay, group 2a elements are called alkaline earth metal because they also dissolve in water to form alkali. These are metals and dissolve in water to form alkalis, but their alkalis are less soluble than the alkalis of group 1a. Okay, so that is why these group 2a elements are called alkaline earth metal. Earth means little bit stable. Okay, stable. That is why these group 2a elements dissolve in water to form alkali, but their alkalis are lesser soluble than the alkalis of group 1a. Okay, this way you have to remember. Group 1a elements are called alkali metals, group 2a elements are called alkaline earth metals, and group 7a elements are called halogens. These are called halogens because they react with the elements of group 1a element to form salt. For example, chlorine reacts with sodium to form sodium chloride, which is a salt. So group 7a elements are called halogens because they react with group 1a elements, alkali metals, to form salt. Right? Group 6a elements are called chalcogens because they are combined with copper in nature. Okay, they remain by combining with copper in nature, chalcogens. Okay, this is not very common. Group 7 elements are very common. Group 1a 2a elements are very common. Now group 0 elements are called inert elements or noble gases because they do not take part in chemical reaction because they have 8 electrons in their valence shell. They have already attained octet state, so they do not take part in chemical reaction except helium. Helium is duplet. It has 2 electrons in the outermost cells. This is duplet, and rest of the elements are octet. Okay, they are in octet state. They have 8 electrons in their valence shell. That is why they do not take part in chemical reaction, and they are called inert elements. Inert means non-reactive. Okay, these are also called noble gases. So these are group 0 elements. Now you see in the periodic table metals, non-metals and metalloid. Group 1a and 2a elements are all metals. Group S block elements are all metals. S block elements metal. P block elements are metal, non-metal, metalloid, all 3 types. Okay, P block elements metals, these are metals, non-metals, and these are metalloid. In the middle, metalloid. Metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic. These pink color metalloid. Okay, metalloid, silicon, germanium, arsenic are the examples of metalloids, and these are aluminium and other elements are metals. Tin, aluminium you can see. Okay, and these blue color non-metal, green color this one non-metals, and even group 0 elements are non-metals. So P block element, P block has all kinds of elements: metal, non-metal, metalloid. Metal, non-metal, metalloid. Group D elements are metals. These are also heavy metals. So these are the metals, non-metals and metalloid. Right. Now we will see this one, reactivity of the elements. Now you see, you get this question frequently: sodium, lithium, sodium, potassium. Lithium, sodium, potassium. Which one is the most reactive among these 3? Then potassium is the most reactive among these 3 because as you go down from top to bottom in a group of the periodic table, the lower elements have bigger atomic size. As you move down from top to bottom, atomic size increases, and due to this potassium is most reactive because it has the largest atomic size among these three. Okay, for metals larger the atomic size, it is easy to lose the electron. Okay, so lithium, sodium, potassium, among these three potassium is most reactive because it has the largest atomic size compared to these two. Okay, if you see the same thing in non-metal, this side non-metal, this side non-metal, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, which one is most reactive among these three? Fluorine is the most reactive because it has the smallest atomic size among these three. And for non-metal, smaller the atomic size, easy to gain the electron. Non-metals gain the electron, metals lose the electron, okay, in the chemical reaction. So fluorine can gain electron more easily than these two. That is why fluorine is most reactive among these three. So in case of non-metal, smaller the atomic size, more reactive is the element, and these are on the upper, in the higher position. Okay, I told you in a periodic table, in a group, as you move from top to down, atomic size increases. That means the top one will have smallest atomic size and the bottom one will have largest atomic size. Okay, so in case of non-metal, smaller the atomic size, more reactive is the element. That is why the upper elements on the upper position, these are more reactive. In case of metals, elements on the lower position are more reactive. Now let's see in a horizontal way. Sodium and magnesium, which one is more reactive among these two? Sodium is more reactive because in a periodic table, as you move from left to right, atomic size decreases. That means largest atomic size is over here, and as you come to this side, atomic size becomes smaller, right? For metals, larger the atomic size, more reactive is the element. That is why sodium has larger atomic size than magnesium. Or you can say it this way also, sodium has only one electron to lose, whereas magnesium has to lose 2 electrons because there are 2 electrons in its valence shell, right? Sodium has 1 electron in its valence shell, so sodium has to lose only 1 electron, magnesium has to lose 2 electrons. That is why sodium is more reactive. It is easy to lose 1 electron, right? Sodium is more reactive, and atomic according to atomic size also, sodium has bigger atomic size, right? So anyway, for metals, if you move from left to right, reactivity decreases. The elements on the left side are more reactive. Sodium is more reactive between sodium and magnesium. Potassium is more reactive between potassium and calcium, right? So in case of non-metal, as you move from left to right, reactivity increases. It is just opposite. Between this nitrogen and oxygen, which one is more reactive? Oxygen is more reactive because oxygen has to gain 2 electrons to be octet because it has 6 electrons in its valence shell, whereas nitrogen has 3 electrons in its 5 electrons in its valence shell. It has to gain 3 electrons to be octet. Okay, whereas oxygen has to gain only 2 electrons to be octet. That is why oxygen is more reactive than nitrogen. Here also phosphorus and sulfur is more reactive because sulfur has to gain 2 electrons, whereas phosphorus has to gain 3 electrons to be octet. So sulfur is more reactive because it has lesser number of electrons to gain to be octet. So this way, for non-metals, reactivity increases as you move from left to right, but in case of metals, reactivity decreases as you move from left to right. Okay, that is why the most reactive metals are group 1a metals. Among metals, group 1a are most reactive because they are on the extreme left. This one, group 1a elements are most reactive metals in the periodic table. Most reactive metals are group 1a. Most reactive non-metals are 7a. Most reactive non-metals are 7a. Okay, and the non-reactive elements, inert elements, are group 0 elements. Group 0 elements. So this is the discussion of periodic table. So you must have understood valence electron groups are on the basis of valence electron. I told you this one. Okay, this group 1a elements have only one valence electron. Group valence electron means electrons in the last cell. Okay, so these group 1a elements have 1 electron in their valence shell, group 2a elements have 2 electrons in their valence shell, and 3a elements have 3 electrons in their valence shell, this way, right? And you see this one, green color is group D elements, and this contains all subgroup B elements. You can see this, no, 3b, 4b, 5b, 6b, 7b, and group 8 has 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. These group A does not have subgroup A and B, but it has 3 columns, 1, 2, 3. All 3 are group 8b. Okay, and there is no 8a. Okay, and 1b and 2b. So these are subgroup B elements. Subgroup B elements are D block elements. So with this we finish discussion of periodic table, and based on this discussion you are going to answer the questions in the next part.